Donkey Kong Country, a beloved classic from the Super Nintendo that many people will recognize, from the precise platforming around obstacles to an unforgettable soundtrack. What you may not be able to recognize are the barrage of glitches, which as of recently allowed a player to beat all the levels in the game from start to finish in under half an hour. But with the limitations of a 2D platformer, what exactly can you even do? Before we get into all this, let's meet the player. This is Lovebird920, known mainly for running the Donkey Kong Country series and Earthbound.
Okay.
Lovebird, as of recently, set out on a quest to beat all 40 stages in the first game in less than 30 minutes. On February 12th, 2025, that's exactly what happened. But how is this possible? Well, the shenanigans start even before the run does. You'll notice that the game will begin in this plane barrel. This is a faster method of transportation offered to you by Funky Kong, who you can meet up with in various spots throughout the game's worlds. While normally you'd start as Donkey Kong on the map, for some reason you can begin the game with the plane barrel by pressing start to skip the intro cutscene, and then immediately pressing down on the D-pad. If no other buttons are hit until the file select screen comes up, you can save a little over a second by naturally moving faster on the map, as well as not needing to load the world map music. After that though, the run doesn't have much in terms of glitches for the first world, but there is one technique used throughout the game that can be used for glitches. This is rolling. Both DK and Diddy can roll across the ground, which can be used to damage enemies and get from point A to point B faster. Though this game's rolling mechanic has an interesting property. When rolling into enemies, it'll speed up your movement much more than you should be able to. It boils down to timing rolls right when an enemy or a line of enemies are right ahead. That being said, Diddy is used most of the time, as his cartwheel is much faster than Donkey Kong's roll. DK does get used for some stuff though, such as World 2-5, Millstone Mayhem. This level has a secret barrel hidden above the stage. It's useful as it can help you jump to the end of the stage. You're meant to find a tire hidden in the ground a little later in the level, and using DK, push it all the way back so you can jump into the barrel. However, using a glitch known as a super jump, you're able to get to this secret barrel much faster. A super jump is a glitch that can allow you to store a normally impossible jump using a Kong's death animation. When playing with both Kongs, if one of them ends up getting hit near a wall or slope, instead of just running off screen like normal, they'll instead perform a very uncharacteristically high jump to exit the screen. Now in order to use said jump, you'd have to rescue the Kong that died, then have the other one get hit. It's at this point you'd hold B, and as long as you keep holding B, the next time you bounce off an enemy's head, you'll basically levitate as long as you want. This is what Lovebird did to access the secret barrel to beat World 2-5 early. Now a super jump can be very useful, but what the heck is this? In order to explain this, you first need to understand a glitch behind it. This is a jump roll. If you're able to perform a roll on the last frame before you fall off a ledge, while at the same time also landing on an enemy's head, Diddy will once again defy the laws of physics and hover while somersaulting forever, as long as he doesn't get hit by a bee or touch ground. Jump rolls have been a useful tool, especially in the past, and to this day speedruns still perform these, but sometimes you need a little more speed. That's where this comes into play. A combination of both a super jump and a jump roll, appropriately named a super jump roll. This takes the infinite height of a super jump and speeds it up using Diddy's roll move. In World 3-3, Forest Frenzy, while starting to use a super jump roll, Lovebird hit some Kremlings along the way to speed up Diddy's roll. The roll can only be sped up so much, but utilizing this crazy trick saves so much time over the normal platforming. Then for some reason, the bird proceeds to visit Funky Kong, use his plane barrel to go back to World 1 and... What? As it turns out in Donkey Kong Country 1, there are some corners in World 1 along the dotted path on the world map. For some reason, when you press B on these corners, the exact moment a Kong touches it, the game will think you selected that spot as a level and will try to load it. Since there are no levels there, it'll try its best to put you somewhere. For most corners, that somewhere is towards the very end of World 3-5, Orangutan Gang. After beating 3-4, this is used as it saves quite a bit of time over playing the whole level. Currently, the requirements for the speedrun category are to enter and beat every single stage. Therefore, a method like this is perfectly acceptable for a speedrun of all stages. The rest of the world from here is played mostly normally. We wouldn't see another big glitch used until World 4-1, Snow Barrel Blast, where Lovebird does another super jump roll. Once again, in order to gain the most speed possible, Diddy is wiggled back and forth to hit these neckies before full sending it forward, letting go of B to make the descent to the exit. After a quick run through of 4-2 using yet another secret barrel to skip most of the level, World 4-3, Ice Age Alley, is introduced. In the game, some animal friends hiding in boxes are used to help DK and Diddy fight enemies and find secret passageways. In the speedrun, there is none more helpful than Espresso the Ostrich. While he's used to get through 4-3 faster, the next thing that Lovebird does with him puts this run on a completely different playing field from those in the past. This uses something known as the split up glitch, something that was found all the way back in 1996. Normally when you play with both DK and Diddy, you can really only control one Kong at a time, with the ability to swap between them on command. The other Kong would typically follow you around, copying your moves to stay nearby. However, back in 1996, glitch hunter David Wan would find something called a split-up glitch, in which, by positioning yourself such that DK and Diddy both shoot out of a barrel, but 1 second apart from each other, you can then find that you can control both Kongs at the same time. However, as time went on, a more complex strategy was developed, which allowed for its use in more stages. With only DK, Lovebird throws a partner barrel, then presses start and select to exit the stage, as it was already beaten once. Upon re-entering the stage, DK gets hit from a nut by a mini necky, while also falling down a pit. This pit is important, as after exiting the stage while throwing the partner barrel, if DK were to die on land, the game would be expecting Diddy to show up, though he never would, which would leave you soft-locked. By dying while over a pit, DK would fall and hit the death plane, which would force a life lost and a level exit like normal. After this is said and done, Lovebird enters the stage for a third time, this time allowing enough space for DK to die, while painting the camera over enough to allow Diddy to reach Espresso. Since the split-up glitch was done, killing DK forces you back to the world map. But since Diddy is riding Espresso, you can bring him with you into a level type that was completely unintended. You can make Espresso swim. Aside from potentially drowning, how would this even work? Since you're not meant to ride Espresso in levels like these, the wall collision can be rather broken. In fact, you're able to run through this level, World 4-4 Croctopus Chase, much faster compared to just somewhat moderately swimming about. In fact, there's a whole tutorial complete with visual guides, made by both Led Ostrich and the Super Duper Nintendo. If you want to learn more about how this works, as well as how to do the glitch step by step, I highly recommend checking this video out. But to briefly go over it, you can't exactly just jump through walls and ceilings to reach the end. Rather, you have to coerce the finicky camera to move, running through necessary triggers to help properly progress through the level. All in all, while it's very complex, it can save upwards of 25 seconds. In speedrunning competition, running a 2D platformer like this, that's quite a massive amount of time. Tricks like these are what Lovebird used to get an edge on any competition. As we progress further, even more super jump rolls are used. World 4-6 Rope Bridge Rumble, World 5-1 Oil Drum Alley, and World 6-2 Manic Mincers. Though these are the last SJRs to be used for the rest of the run. But we aren't quite done with the mind-blowing tricks just yet. World 5-3 Elevator Antics has a unique glitch that seems to be in the same wheelhouse as an arbitrary code execution setup, though I don't actually believe it to be Ace. Regardless, Lovebird barrels through this cave stage, quickly passing through crawl spaces and avoiding enemies, eventually reaching this metal keg. The thing is, this keg gets picked up, thrown onto a ledge, picked up again, and then something weird happens with a checkpoint barrel, and before you know it, the level's done. While not everything with this strange glitch is entirely known, much like I described in my original Ace video, in order for games like these to run, given the Super Nintendo's hardware limitations, each object shown on screen has to fit in a certain sprite slot. Using some of the precise movement seen in the speedrun for this level, Lovebird is able to have this metal keg load into a certain slot, then forcing the keg to disappear using the checkpoint barrel, leaving that same sprite slot filled, but this time filled with a nothing object, which at this point can make the game do something rather odd. Using movement and setting down the now invisible object that used to be the metal keg, along with the third condition needing to be met involving this mini Necky's nut, once you bounce up to a hidden secret barrel, because of all that setup stuff that was done, the barrel will be changed to blast you far out of bounds. The game isn't usually meant to handle this, so it snaps the camera to the end of the level, which then fades the screen to black, allowing you to clear that level much faster. It can be a lot to take in, but this glitch, as precise as it is, helped push Lovebird that much closer to the end. A few more jump rolls are used in the remaining levels, where one of them involves a glitch where when DK gets hit while Diddy is riding a minecart, Diddy can then cartwheel midair and jump, and then he has the ability to cartwheel once again. It's a glitch that can go on forever. Even more interesting is the one in 6-2 Manic Mincers, where a jump roll is performed. Immediately after, as a result of setting up a super jump earlier in the level, he can perform a super jump roll once again. Though this is the last time an SJR is used, an odd variant of it is only done once throughout the run in the very next level, Misty Mine. While a super jump roll is frame perfect, meaning in the 60 frame per second game you have a 1/60th of a second window to perform it, this odd variant of an SJR is not frame perfect. This is what's known as a super free roll, and for whatever reason this trick only works on this level. While the setup for this is slower than a super jump roll, it's much easier given the lack of a very precise window for input. Afterwards, Lovebird goes back to 6-2 to set up another split up glitch, but it's not what you think it's for. 6-5 Platform Perils. See, there's a hidden moving platform that will take you to a secret bonus barrel. Now by doing the split up glitch and starting the level with only Diddy Kong, if the partner barrel is thrown and broken at the right time, instead of bringing you to the bonus section of the level, you'll instead perform a wrong warp, skipping pretty much the entirety of the level. After all is said and done, there's just 2 more levels, the second Necky boss fight, and the final boss, King K. Rool. While there's not much to say about these, Lovebird makes quick work of beating them to a pulp as fast as possible, and after some fake out credits and one final fight, Lovebird clutches it out by 1 second. Even with all the crazy precise tricks that can drive anyone absolutely bananas, the fact that this monumental barrier was just barely broken is a testament to just how hard running this game actually is. But that wouldn't be enough, as while I was making this video, Lovebird topped the sub 30-minute time. The only difference was that across this run, while Worlds 2 and 3 seemed good, Worlds 4 and 5 are where a collective 2+ seconds were lost. Motivated to keep the run going, Lovebird threw caution to the wind and replaced the easier super free roll in Misty Mine with a much more precise and faster super jump roll. Even after having been witness to some Donkey Kong Country speedrun streams, I hadn't exactly realized the amount of work that went into it. But once I learned what these tricks were and how they're done, I gained a newfound appreciation for the people that push to improve themselves and reach their goals. Even if for a video game, that means adding more and more difficult strategies. If you want to watch Lovebird's stream, and maybe even see some speedrun attempts, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, share your thoughts in the comments below. But with that being said, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and peace.